So Kobe Bryant, he had an interesting quote that I want to get into very quickly, then we'll get your response.
Okay.
He said, "I'd rather them not trade him at all. If they're going to do something, I wish they would just blank do it. If they're not going to do it, come out and say you're not going to do it." Now, a lot of people were saying, is he for Pau Gasol? Is he against Pau Gasol? It seems like he is for. Am I right?
Yeah, he's definitely for Pau Gasol because, I mean, really, if you look at the situation, you know, any criticism that you can make about Pau Gasol, who else are you going to get that's a 7-footer who can do what Gasol can do, who's as versatile? How many guys around the league who fit that profile can do what Gasol does? You can count them on one hand, and none of those guys are available. So I think he clearly wants Gasol. The size and length of the Los Angeles Lakers is what's made them successful. And if you got rid of that, that would be a real problem for them.
Exactly. I mean, he is arguably the #2 player on the team behind the leading scorer in the league. And, you know, you have Andrew Bynum, and hopefully he stays healthy. At least Laker fans would hope so. Pau Gasol is that smart 7-footer who's a good free throw shooter, and he's having an all-star season. So I don't know why you would trade him unless you were to get, and I've heard these names around sports radio in L.A., Kyle Lowry and Louis Scola, and it seems like even those names wouldn't be enough. What's your take on that?
Yeah, I mean, you know, people forget about Louis Scola. He's a really good player. He didn't come in the NBA until late. So, you know, it's not like you're getting a guy who's markedly younger than Pau Gasol, even though he's a good player. I think Lowry would be a good pickup. I still don't know if you are a championship team. You may have be a little bit better regular season team. I just don't know if you're a favorite to win the Western Conference even after that. But the other issue, too, even throwing around those names, I'd have to wonder why would the Houston Rockets give you those two guys and take Gasol? Because I don't see, with Houston giving up those two guys, how Houston is that much better with Gasol after losing those two guys. So I just don't think anything that I've heard about potential moves with Gasol makes sense for the Lakers long term. Look, people forget, yes, he is an all-star this year, and the Lakers, despite some of the rough patches they've had, they're right in the thick of things in the Western Conference, 5th place if I'm not mistaken, and I think they're a game behind the Los Angeles Clippers in the Pacific Division. So it's not like they're doing really badly.
Mm-hmm. Let me ask you this about Kyle Lowry. Do you think that he's overachieving this year? Do you think he's going to reach his ceiling and then just kind of peak out after that?
I mean, he's not a bad point guard. He's had a couple of good years before this year. I think he's probably at his ceiling right now. I don't see him being able to take it even to another level. I think what we see right now is the best Kyle Lowry you're going to get. Now, compared to what the Lakers have at point guard at the moment, that's way better. I mean, Derek Fisher and Steve Blake and, you know, the other guards, rookies Darius Miles and Andrew Goodluck at the guard position have been completely ineffectual there. And I think that's probably more of the concern, or should be more of the concern for the Lakers than Gasol. I think part of the problems that the Lakers are having, as well as Gasol is having, is you really don't have a solid point guard. And when you don't have that quarterback to run the engine, I think that's what's leading to maybe some of these other problems we see in game situations offensively.
Should they trade Andrew Bynum possibly over Pau Gasol?
I don't know if you should trade Bynum only because he's younger. And, you know, he's a true center. Gasol is really not as comfortable playing the center position. Now, obviously, with Bynum, with the knee issues, you got to be worried about his durability. But he's been so far so good this year with that. The Lakers have huge decisions to make. They're in a perfect catch-22. They are not far away from being a legitimate title contending team, but they're also in another year or two, they're going to be completely out of the picture. They're going to be old, and they don't have they don't have young talent and young stars that I see that will allow them to rebound quicker, quickly. So they have to make up their mind. Are they going to go into a rebuilding phase, or they're still pushing for a championship? Right now, I'm telling you, I talked to Mike Brown for like 40 minutes on the phone last week. He believes they're a championship contending team.
Oh, my goodness, please.
Yes, he does. Yes, he does. He believes they have to make a few tweaks offensively. He loves their defense. He believes they play championship defense, and in the 7-game series, they will be a tough out for anyone. He believes that, whether no one else believes it or not. He believes that. So it's kind of, is he being a little bit too optimistic? Maybe. But it seems like the organization doesn't want to go into a rebuilding mode. They believe they can win a championship. So maybe they're being a little bit too optimistic. But, yeah, I think in 2 years, this team isn't going to look, this franchise is going to be in complete disarray.
Don't you think that he's just being a coach? Like, granted, I mean, a lot of coaches and general managers and those sorts of people who are in positions of power in organizations, don't you think that he's just being positive, optimistic, saying the right things to you? Or do you think that he truly, truly believes that when I, for one, do not?
No, he truly believes it because he was frank with me about some other things.
Like what? Like what?
Well, there's some things that he couldn't tell. He didn't say on the record. I can't repeat some of the stuff he said. But he frankly believes that they do play championship defense. He thinks they're about as close as they could be defensively to being a championship team. One thing he did admit on the record, they don't have any playmakers with the ball. You know, and it's obviously what we were just talking about, how you don't have any guards who can bring the ball up and create havoc the way, say, you see a Jeremy Lin has done in New York. They don't have anyone who could come in, run a pick and roll, for instance, and create havoc that way. And that's what they need. So, you know, defensively, the Lakers, I think they're like number 5. They allowed a 5th or 6th fewest points in the NBA, if I'm not mistaken. Their defense isn't bad. It's not great. Yeah, they allow 91.1 points a game, so it's pretty good defense. The offense is a completely another matter, and basically Kobe's going to have to score 40 a night in the playoffs, I think, in order for them to advance deep into the playoffs, and I think that might be asking too much of him at this stage.
No pressure at all, Kobe. Just go out there and put up 40. We'll win. What teams have you heard that have been really interested, aside from the Rockets, that could land Pau Gasol? I mean, really, the Rockets are the only team I've really heard of that has a significant interest in the sense that they can make a move to try and get him. I've heard that teams such as, you know, Golden State's desperate for a big man. They've been trying to get a big man. They were so desperate for a big man they signed Kwame Brown. Zinger.
And you know, Golden State has a lot of guards, which is something the Lakers need. Now, whether would you make a trade like that within your own division, that makes that kind of unlikely. I think it's easier. I think it's more likely outside of the Houston Rockets, who are also desperate for another big body, that a team that Gasol may go to is more likely to be an Eastern Conference team, just because you normally trade guys like that to the other conference. But I think it's still kind of murky. There's a lot with the Lakers that's undefined, and I think that's kind of part of his point, and that's the part of his frustration, that it doesn't seem like there's a clear path to where they're going or where they're headed. So I think give it after All-Star weekend, I think it might be a little bit more clear who are the serious and major players into potentially landing Gasol.
But do you think that he gets traded this year? In the end, do you think he moves from the Lakers to another team?
I don't think so. My hunch right now is no. Now, obviously, someone can come up with a deal that obviously makes me change my opinion a week from now or 2 weeks from now. I don't see anything out there at the moment that says so. Again, only because the assets that the Lakers have in general, I just don't see how they pull out a deal, you know, 1-to-1. They need, to me, a third team in order to make a significant deal that's going to make them a better team, because their needs are more than getting rid of Pau Gasol.
Well, hopefully if they make a trade, David Stern does not veto it.